IGNOU MPS Political Science, Political Theory, Feminism Summary. This chapter is useful for the students who are preparing for PSIR optional civil services exam. So this is a summary of the chapter. The detailed explanation will be in another video. Feminism, Theory and Perspectives. Feminism is both a theoretical framework and a political movement that seeks to understand and challenge the oppression of women and to establish gender equality in all spheres of life. So what is feminism? It is both a theoretical framework and a political movement. For what? Seek to understand the challenges the oppressed woman and to establish gender equality in all spheres of life. It questions the structure of patriarchy, the system of male dominance, and examines how social, cultural, political, and economic system reproduce women's subordination. So it questions the structure of patriarchy and male dominance and social, cultural, political, and economic system always reproduce women's subordination. It is not going to eliminate but reproduce. So it examines how the reproduction of this women's subordination is working. Now, origin and meaning of feminism. The term feminism is believed to have been first used by Charles Fourier, a utopian socialist, in the 19th century, referring to the demand for equal rights for women. It's emerged as a distinct political intellectual movement in the 19th century West, when women realized that bourgeois democratic revolutions of earlier centuries had excluded them. Earlier democratic bourgeois revolution excluded women, so there was a feminism emerged as a distinct political intellectual movement for women. The Industrial Revolution brought women into public employment, making their unequal status visible. In non-Western society, the woman question arose in the context of anti-colonial struggle, where feminism had to fight both traditional patriarchy and colonial domination. So in non-Western countries, there was anti-colonial struggle where feminism had to fight with both the traditional patriarchy and colonial domination. And core principle of feminism, despite internal difference, all feminists share three broad beliefs. Women occupy an inferior position in society compared to men. Women occupy an inferior society. The hierarchy is based on gender, not biology. Women's subordination is socially constructed and maintained through power structure, not natural difference. It is socially constructed and maintained through power structure. It's not natural difference. So there is an inferior position for women that is based on gender. It is socially constructed and maintained. Types of feminism. Liberal feminism. Liberal feminism works within framework of the liberal state, emphasizes individual freedom, equality and justice, argues that women inequality persists because liberal values have ignored gender. The liberals' values ignored gender, that's why women inequality persists. Seeks legal and political reforms to ensure equal rights and opportunities for women. So it seeks legal and political reform. This is about liberal feminism. A work within the framework of liberal state, individual equality and justice are stressed. Socialist feminism. Link women oppression to class structure and capitalism. Women oppression was linked to class structure and capitalism. Draws from Marx's analysis but criticized its gender blindness. Argues that patriarchy and capitalism reinforce each other. Women unpaid domestic labor sustain capitalist production. So you may be familiar with the surplus concept of Marx. Like that here, women unpaid domestic labor that sustain capital production. Advocate both economic and social transformation to achieve women liberation. economic and social transformation are essential for women liberation. Now, radical feminism views patriarchy as the oldest and most fundamental of the domination, sees male control over women's sexuality and reproduction as the root of all other oppression. So, male control over women's sexuality and reproduction is the root of all other oppression. Calls for the revolution of feminist qualities, that is, such as nature, emotion, and rejection of male defined values of aggression and control. The concept of patriarchy next. The concept of patriarchy. Central to feminist theory, patriarchy refers to a system of male dominance institutionalized in family, society, and economy and culture. So, patriarchy simply it's male dominance institutionalized in family, society, economic, and culture. So, thinkers Carole, Millett, patriarchy is a systemic structure of domination, not just individual male power. It is a systemic structure, not individual male power. Gerda Lerner defines patriarchy as the institutionalization of male dominance in both family and society. That's also a similar interpretation. Institutionalization of male domination. Uma Chakravarti highlights Brahminical patriarchy, where gender oppression intersect with caste. Silla Eisenstein describes capitalist patriarchy, where capitalism and patriarchy are mutually reinforcing. Patriarchy controls women's sexuality, labor, and mobility, restricting access to resources and defining gender norms that perpetuate dependence. So, it controls women's sexuality, labor, and mobility. So, this is key things and the definition about patriarchy. The sex-gender distinction, basic concept. Sex, biological difference between man and woman. Gender means social and cultural meaning attached to this difference. Social and cultural meaning attached to this difference. Feminists argue that inequality is not biological but social, challenging biological determinism. Cultural construction of gender. Anthropologists like Margaret Mead showed that masculinity and femininity vary across culture. Simone Beauvoir wrote, one is not born but became a woman. One is not born but became a woman. Gender roles are socially taught through upbringing and reinforced by institution. There is nothing natural about the sexual division of labor. Domestic work is socially assigned to women, not biologically determined. Development in the sex-gender debate, Ellison Jagger dialectical view, sex and gender are interdependent. Biology is shaped by culture and social experience. The body itself is socially formed. Beauty norms and social restrictions shape women's physical capacities. Thus, biology and culture mutually construct each other. Radical feminist view, like Susan Griffin, Andrea Dawkins, and Vandana Shiva argue that women's reproductive and nurturing roles connect them closer to nature. Feminism should reclaim and revalue feminine qualities rejected by patriarchal society. Carole Gilligan, in a different voice show, men and women different moral listening. Men rational rule-based, women relational, empathetical, and care-based. Feminine values of care and non-violence. That means as these moral politics offer alternative moral framework to masculine aggression. Postmodern feminist view challenges the binary distinction between sex and gender, argues that gender precedes sex. Cultural meanings construct the ideas of biological sex. Cultural meaning construct the idea of biological sex. Gender is performed and produced through social norms and language. Reject the notion of fixed male or female categories, highlighting the exclusion of non-boundary and intersex identities. Science and language themselves construct the fact of biology. So, postmodern feminist view challenges the binary construction. Gender precedes sex. Argue that gender precedes the sex. Cultural meanings construct the idea of biological sex. Gender is performed and produced through social norms and language. So, fixed male and female categories are they reject this idea. There is exclusion of non-binary and intersect identities in this. Now, intersectional gender identity approach. Feminist highlights that women are not homogeneous category. Gender intersect with the caste, class, race and religion. Example, in India, debates on the Uniform Civil Code show how religion and identity complicate women's rights. Feminist practice must consider multiple identities and contexts, not a universal woman experience. So, women are not homogeneous category. It intersects with the caste, class, race and religion. So, challenges to compulsory heterosexuality. Adrian Rich questioned the naturalness of heterosexuality, calling it socially enforced. Marriage and family serve as institution of patriarchal control. Feminism must embrace sexual diversity and challenge heteronormative assumption. Feminist critique of the public-private dichotomy, liberal view. The public sphere was seen state work. Public sphere means state work was seen as political, while the private sphere, family, sexuality was considered beyond politics. Feminists argue that this division excluded the family from justice and equality, allowing oppression within the home to remain invisible. So politics just means state and other things. Family is excluded from politics. So this division excluded the family from justice and equality, allowing oppression in home. The slogan, "The personal is political," captures the feminist demand to make private issues public. The personal is political. Marxist and Socialist feminist view. Marxism ignored the economic value of domestic labor. Feminists show that housework is unpaid but productive. It produces both labor power and future workers, sustaining capitalism. It reproduces both labor power and future workers. Therefore, the private sphere underpins the public economy. Lack of consensus. US feminists use privacy right to secure freedom. Abortion right. Radical and Indian feminists argue that privacy protects patriarchy, hiding domestic violence and sexual abuse, etc. Hence, feminist theory must balance autonomy, privacy with accountability. So, this is a summary of the chapter Feminism. The detailed explanation will follow in next video. In next video, we will discuss the summary of next chapter. Thank you.